touch something hot right now and time how long it takes you to pull your hand away. You can't. It happens in roughly 50 to 150 milliseconds. That is faster than your brain can process what your eyes are seeing, faster than you can form a thought, faster than you can feel pain. In fact, here is the exact sequence of what happens. You pull your hand away. Then you feel the pain. Then your brain finds out about it. Your body protected itself before your mind knew there was anything to protect against. Most people assume the nervous system works like a phone call. Something happens. The signal travels up to the brain. The brain decides what to do. The signal travels back down. The body acts. Clean, logical, top down. The brain in charge of everything. That model feels right. It matches how we think about ourselves. Conscious, deliberate, in control. It is also wrong. Your nervous system is not a single chain of command. It is a hierarchy with multiple decision-making levels. And the level that handles the most urgent threats is not the brain. It is the spinal cord, a structure most people think of as nothing more than a cable carrying messages up and down. It is not a cable. It is a processor, and it has been making life-saving decisions on your behalf since the day you were born. This is the reflex arc, and understanding how it actually works changes something fundamental about how you think about your own body. Let's start with the moment of contact. You touch something dangerous. Maybe it is a hot stove. Maybe it is a sharp edge. The instant your skin makes contact, specialized sensory receptors in your fingertip fire. These are not general-purpose nerve endings. They are specific receptors called nociceptors, designed to detect exactly one category of stimulus: threat, pain, damage. The moment they activate, they send an electrical signal racing up a sensory neuron toward the spinal cord. This signal is not slow. It travels at speeds between 5 and 30 meters per second depending on the type of nerve fiber involved. Your spinal cord is roughly half a meter from your fingertip. The math means the signal arrives in under 10 milliseconds. Now here is where the standard story breaks down. In the standard story, that signal would travel all the way up the spinal cord, climb into the brainstem, reach the cortex, get processed, generate a response, and send a motor signal back down. That entire round trip takes somewhere between 150 and 300 milliseconds. Long enough for serious damage to occur. Long enough for the hot stove to burn through layers of tissue before your brain ever decides to move. Evolution did not accept that arrangement. Instead, when the danger signal arrives at the spinal cord, something happens that your brain has no part in. The signal enters the spinal cord through the dorsal horn, the back section of the spinal cord's gray matter. There, it connects directly with a type of neuron called an interneuron. The interneuron does not send the signal upward to the brain. It routes it sideways, directly across the spinal cord to the motor neurons on the other side. Those motor neurons fire immediately. They send the withdrawal signal back down to the muscles in your arm before any signal has reached your brain at all. Your hand is already moving. Your muscles are already contracting. The decision is already made, and your brain is still finding out what happened. This is the reflex arc. Sensory neuron in. Interneuron in the middle, motor neuron out, the whole loop contained within the spinal cord. The brain is not part of it. The brain is, at this point, a bystander receiving news after the fact. But here is where it gets strange. Because the reflex arc is not just a bypass for emergencies. It is not a dumb shortcut that kicks in only when things get dangerous. It is a sophisticated system running complex, coordinated responses that your brain could not execute even if it tried to do them consciously. Take the withdrawal reflex. When you pull your hand away from something hot, your arm does not just yank backward randomly. A precisely coordinated sequence fires. The flexor muscles in your arm contract, pulling the hand away. Simultaneously, the extensor muscles on the opposite side relax, allowing the movement to happen smoothly. At the exact same moment, on the opposite side of your body, the opposite pattern fires. Your other arm's extensors contract to stabilize you. Your legs adjust your balance. Your posture compensates for the sudden shift in weight. All of this happens in under 150 milliseconds, coordinated across your entire body, without a single instruction from your brain. Your brain cannot do this. Not this fast. Not this precisely. By the time your conscious mind forms an intention and sends a signal, the window for this kind of response has already closed. The reflex arc does not supplement your brain. In this domain, it outperforms it completely. Charles Sherrington understood this better than anyone. He spent decades at the beginning of the 20th century mapping exactly how these circuits work. His 1906 book, The Integrative Action of the Nervous System, laid out the architecture of the reflex arc in detail that nobody had seen before. He showed that reflexes were not simple mechanical responses. They were integrated, coordinated, inhibitory as much as excitatory. When one muscle group fires, the opposing group is actively suppressed, not just left alone, actively switched off. He called this reciprocal inhibition. And it is happening in your body right now, constantly, as you hold your current position without falling over. Sherrington won the Nobel Prize in Physiology in 1932. He said later that the reflex arc taught him something he had not expected to find. The spinal cord is not a messenger. It is a mind. A small, fast, specific mind that handles the body's most urgent business without ever bothering the brain with the details. Now here is the part that most people never think about. The reflexes you were born with are not the only ones you have. Your nervous system can build new reflex circuits through repetition. When you learn to drive, turning the wheel in response to a slide starts as a conscious, brain-mediated decision. After enough practice, it becomes a reflex. The circuit drops below the level of conscious control. Your body starts responding before your brain finishes processing the situation. This is what experts mean when they talk about muscle memory. It is not actually in the muscle. It is in the nervous system. Practiced responses that have been drilled deep enough to operate at spinal cord speed rather than cortical speed. Elite athletes live here. A cricket batsman facing a ball traveling at 90 miles per hour has approximately 200 milliseconds to respond. Conscious decision-making takes at least 150 milliseconds. That leaves almost no room for the brain to be involved in the actual movement. The batsman is not consciously deciding where to swing. The swing is already happening while the decision is still forming. What looks like extraordinary skill is really an extraordinary reflex system, built through thousands of hours of repetition until the response runs faster than thought. And this raises a question that neuroscience is still working through. If so much of what your body does happens below the level of conscious awareness, if the spinal cord is making decisions, if practice skills operate without cortical involvement, then what exactly is the brain for? The answer is not comforting to our sense of self-importance. The brain handles complexity, context, and the future. It plans. It predicts. It overrides. It can look at a situation and decide that the reflex response is wrong, that pulling away from the heat is the wrong move, that holding the position is necessary. A surgeon can hold a scalpel steady near a source of heat because their brain is actively suppressing the withdrawal reflex. A soldier can hold their ground because their prefrontal cortex is overriding the threat response. This override is extraordinarily effortful. It requires training, focus, and enormous cognitive energy. And it is never faster than the reflex. It is only more contextually appropriate. You are not a brain running a body. You are a hierarchy of systems, each one handling what it is best equipped to handle, each one protecting you in ways the others cannot. Your spinal cord handles the milliseconds. Your brainstem handles the seconds. Your cortex handles the minutes, the hours, the years. The reflex arc is the bottom of that hierarchy, the oldest, the fastest, and in the moments that matter most, the one most likely to keep you alive. Right now, as you sit here, your nervous system is running hundreds of these circuits simultaneously, adjusting your posture, regulating your breathing, protecting your joints from overextension, keeping you upright and intact without a single conscious instruction from you. You think you are running your body. Mostly, your body is running itself. And the part that runs fastest is the part that never once asks your permission.